In celebration of our upcoming Independence Day here in the United States, I want to wish you all a very happy 4th of July. And I thought it would be fun to go back to the colonial days of the 1700s and share a recipe with you for a beverage that may have been enjoyed by George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin. So let's go. Today I'm going to share with you how to make a shrub, specifically a strawberry shrub. It's an old-fashioned, probiotic-rich drinking vinegar that actually tastes good. Hi sweet friends, I'm Mary and welcome to Mary's Nest, where I teach traditional cooking skills for making nutrient-dense foods like bone broth, sourdough, ferments, and more. So if you enjoy learning about those things, consider subscribing to my channel. And don't forget to click on the little notification bell below. That'll let you know every time I upload a new video. A shrub is a wonderful beverage to have on hand any time of year, but it's especially nice to have during the summer because it's a terrific thirst quencher, and it was commonly used as such in the 18th century. A shrub, in many ways, is a forerunner of what we think today of as energy drinks. But the nice thing about a homemade shrub compared to modern-day energy drinks is that we don't have to worry about artificial colors or artificial ingredients and so on and so forth. We've just got 3 ingredients and they're all natural. Now what you need to remember when you make a shrub is that it's 1 part, 1 part, 1 part. And so today I'm just going to use a quart-sized jar, so I'm just going to use 1 cup of each ingredient. But you can double this, triple this, do whatever you want. You can make a big gallon of it. And the 3 ingredients that you're going to need are some fresh fruit, some apple cider vinegar, and this is raw apple cider vinegar, and this is homemade. And if you'd like to learn how to make your own homemade apple cider vinegar, I've got a video on that, and I'll link to it in the iCards and in the description below. And then the final ingredient you're going to need is some honey. This is just a raw local honey from here in the Texas Hill Country, and it's nice and dark. It's really quite delicious. Now, if you don't want to use honey, you can use other forms of sweetener. You could use maple syrup if you wanted, or you could use the dried cane juice. Sometimes you see it marketed under the name Sucanat. Now, honey is very high in vitamins and minerals, but so is Sucanat and so is maple syrup. So anything that you choose will work fine. Now, this couldn't be easier to make. All we're going to do is take our fruit and put it in the bottom of our jar. Now what we're going to do is smash up this fruit. I've got a crowd pounder here. You've probably seen this if you've been with me before when I make ferments. And I'll put a link in the description below to where you can find one. They're very easy to find on Amazon or at the kitchen stores. But this works great for smashing the fruit. And if you don't have one, don't worry. You can just go in with a wooden spoon or a spatula, whatever you have, where you can put some pressure down and start mashing this fruit up. Well, I've got my strawberries all mashed up in here, and as I said, you can use any kind of fruit in season. You can use blackberries, blueberries, raspberries are wonderful. You can use a combination, anything, just as long as you have 1 cup in the case of what we're doing here, or 1 part to your sweetener and your vinegar. Now I'm going to go ahead and measure my 1 part honey. So I'm just going to put in a cup of honey, and we'll pour that right in. I'm just going to use a spoon to get every last bit of this good honey out of here. And now I'm going to add in my cup of vinegar. And this is raw apple cider vinegar with the mother. This is what makes it nice and probiotic rich, because raw apple cider vinegar is loaded with probiotics, which is wonderful for good gut health. Now I'm just going to take the back of the spoon here, or the handle of the spoon, and I'm going to give this a good stir. Now I'm going to put a lid on my quart-sized jar nice and tight, and I'm going to give it a good shake. Now at this point you have a couple of options. You can serve it up right now as is, and I'll show you how to serve it, or you can put it in your refrigerator and just let the flavors meld a little and become a little more intense. So the option is up to you. Now whether you've left this sit in your fridge for a few days or you're ready to serve it now, this is the next step that you're going to take. You're going to uncap it and you're going to pour it through a strainer into another, in this case I'm using a glass measuring cup, or into any kind of vessel. And we're just going to strain out this fruit. Now don't discard this fruit. You know me, I don't like to waste anything, and I'm going to tell you what you can do with this fruit once we're done straining the liquid off. Now this little bit of pulp that's left over, Don't discard this, because this is really enriched with the honey and the vinegar and has a lovely flavor to it. So you can mix this into yogurt, or you could even mix it into yogurt and take it one more step where you put it into popsicle molds and make wonderful sweetened yogurt popsicles that'll be delightful. And you can also mix this into oatmeal, and especially if you make your homemade oatmeal. I have a video where I show you how to start with oat groats, the actual groat. You know, it's not flaked, it's not even steel cut. It's the whole oat groat that you may see sold in the bulk section at your grocery store. And you could mix this in with that. It would be delicious. And I'll put a link in the iCards to the video where I show you how to make oatmeal starting with oat groats. So there's lots of tasty ways to use this up, and you don't need to worry about wasting or discarding it. Now, the first thing you want to do is get a nice glass and fill it with ice. And the nice thing about this drink is that if you're having a party or entertaining, whatever the case may be, and you have folks who don't drink alcohol, this is a wonderful option. It's very refreshing, it's nutritious, and it looks a little fancy. Now, for a glass this size, you'll want to use about 1/4 cup of the shrub. Now, it is to taste, so after you put in 1/4 cup and you add your additional ingredients, you can make a decision as to whether or not you want to add a little more or a little less next time. So I've given this a good stir, and I'm just going to go ahead and measure out about 1/4 cup and pour that right over our ice. At this point, you can add plain filtered water and just have a nice beverage like that, or you can add sparkling water that makes it, in many ways, like an 18th century soda, or even like a little mocktail, as they say, a non-alcoholic cocktail. So I'm going to go ahead and add in some sparkling water to really make this very delightful. And then we'll give it a good stir and a taste. Now I'm going to put in the straw and give this a good twirling, swizzling around to get it all incorporated with the seltzer or the sparkling water. To get the shrub incorporated with the sparkling water. Oh, this just looks lovely, so refreshing. Now, this is just a basic shrub, a basic fruit shrub. Now, you can add additional ingredients at the stage where you're smashing your fruit. You can add a little fresh ginger if you want. You could even add a little mint. There's so many options of things that you can do. It's a very versatile beverage. Well, let's go ahead and give this a sip. Oh, that's so tasty. I really like that. And this is a delightful drinking vinegar. Maybe you've purchased drinking vinegars at the store and sometimes they can be a little harsh. Making them homemade is so delightful because you can control what fruit you want to use, how much honey, so on and so forth. And it just makes it really refreshing and very tasty. And because we're using the raw apple cider vinegar, probiotic rich. And then you can take the rest of this shrub and just put this back into your jar and store it like that. And you can just go ahead and store this in your fridge and it'll last a good long while because the honey and the apple cider vinegar are wonderful preservatives. You just give it a shake there to incorporate a little bit of that honey that was in there, and pop this in your fridge. Definitely last for a few weeks. So the next time you're in the mood for an energy drink or a homemade soda, or you're entertaining and you have guests who want a non-alcoholic beverage, I hope you'll give this a try. It's really delicious. And if you'd like to learn more about traditional cooking and making probiotic-rich beverages, be sure to subscribe to my channel and then click on this video over here where I show you how to make a ginger bug and homemade ginger ale. And I'll see you over there in my Texas Hill Country kitchen. Love and God bless.